Welcome to Chat with Charlie on Mum Matters, the real talk podcast for mums navigating the beautiful chaos of motherhood. I'm Charlie, mum of 5, here to help you feel more confident and less overwhelmed from pregnancy to those am I doing this right moments we all have. We talk about the stuff that no one prepares you for, so go and grab a cuppa and let's dive in. Hannah, I'm really happy that you've joined us here today for this whole exploration of the financial world for young families, because I think it's so hard when you're about to start a family. You don't know where to turn. There's so much to think about when having the baby, let alone the financial situation as well. So you're a financial advisor of many years and many talents, and I'm so happy to be working with you. Can you just tell us a bit about yourself, who you are and what experience you've got in the financial world?
Sure. So thanks for having me, for starters. So I'm Hannah. I've been in the financial sector for about 11 years now. I started off working in the high street banks. And then for some reason, I really wanted to get into mortgages. I just found it really interesting. So I got into mortgages. And then I was a mortgage underwriter for about 8 years, feeling a bit old.
Oh my gosh.
And then before going on maternity leave with my youngest, I qualified to be a mortgage broker, and then had a bit of a break, went on maternity leave, and then got straight back into it really, because I'm just really passionate about mortgages and, you know, people owning homes. I feel like it's such a big part of our lives.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when you've got kids as well, it's kind of like, this is my goal, to get a house, because heaven forbid I die, they are going to have this. Like, they need to be set up for life.
The security. Yeah.
You know. But also off the back of that, I feel like there's so much knowledge out there that people just don't know about. It's not taught in schools, for example.
No.
So, you know, I feel privileged because it's my sector. So when I went through the whole process, I knew exactly what to do, what to say, where to go, who to approach, etc. For someone else who's maybe just starting a family, like wants to start a family, and wants to get a mortgage, it's just really confusing. There's not much information.
I think mortgages are quite daunting for people as well. People think that it's so far from what they can get that a lot of people just switch off from it and think, well, how am I going to get that kind of money? How am I going to get on the property ladder? And then if you add a new baby to the mix and they're not already on the property ladder, it's like, forget it. And people I think they just switch off because it's a massive lack of knowledge. And it's quite interesting that you say it's not taught in schools. I think these like foundational things of life, business, mortgages, growing in life before your career and everything, other things outside of that are just so important that just literally aren't taught unless you choose to learn about those things. I'm hoping that today you can break that down for us a little bit for people that are starting a new family or on that journey, or maybe thinking of starting a family, of how they can prepare themselves.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I think it sounds scary because it's such a big amount of money. So the first thing, you know, especially young couples, the first thing I hear is, oh, I can't afford it.
Yeah.
I can't afford it. I could never afford that. And it's, why do you think you can't afford it? Let's talk about it. Let's sit down. Let's go through your bank account, your savings, where you want to live, because that's also a big thing. I live in quite an expensive area, but then we're right next to an area that's much lower.
Not so expensive, right?
So it depends where you want to go. So I think just the basics about mortgage is that you want to get on the property ladder. Okay, let's start with your savings. Let's start to see how much money you've got. So I think it's really important for young people, as soon as they get a job, 16, 18, whatever it is, to start putting money aside. £50 a week, £200 a month, whatever it is. Yeah. So you can open a savings account. It doesn't have to go through your parents or anything once you're 16, and you can start saving. And that's going to be your deposit pot. Now, obviously, there's the cost of living crisis, everything's gone up. You're going to need more than £5,000.
More than that to get started. Yeah.
Exactly. It's a good starting point.
It's a good starter.
Yeah.
What about the people that haven't been able to do that, the people that are just starting out with a family that haven't been able to do that? Are there options for people that haven't been able to save anything?
Yeah, so if you haven't been able to save anything, you can always get a gift from a family member, for example, mum and dad, uncle or aunt. I think when it gets to like cousins, it's a little bit more complicated because you have to prove where this money has come from. The thing is, you
Right.
can't.
So if you had like a deposit and it was like a gift from a family member, that can go down as your deposit.
Yeah. So you don't have to personally save up yourself for a deposit.
Okay.
I got a gift from my family, for example, because I was a single parent with one child. I had a good salary, but because I was the sole caretaker for my child,
Right.
I couldn't afford to put money away because we just had like too many expenses.
Yeah.
So you can get a gift. And I think as a parent also, I think when my eldest gets to that point where he wants to buy a house, if I didn't have money to give him through savings, then I would, for example, take out a loan
And gift it to him,
for example, and then he can go buy his house and do whatever he wants, and then I'll deal with that loan later.
Finance from that.
So it doesn't really matter where the parents get the money from. The bank just wants to see that that's where it's coming from, and that's where it's
What
going
kind
to.
of percentage are first-time buyers looking to have to save? Like what kind of amount? Obviously, it depends where you live, but an average deposit, like for a house, what would that look like?
So that's a great question because I get that a lot, to be honest.
Right.
There's no magic number. So it's going to be between 5 and 20% of what you're buying.
Of whatever you're buying. Okay.
Whatever you're buying. You can get 100% mortgages. So, for example, Skipton Mortgage were the first to come out 2 years ago with this solution. The only thing about those mortgages, which I don't like, is you have no equity. So if you buy a house and it's worth 300,000 and you've put no deposit down, and then in a week the house prices fall, you're going to be in negative equity immediately.
Wow.
Yeah. So just negative equity just means like your house was worth 300, now it's worth 250. So if you want to sell it, you sell it at 250, you have to pay the bank back £50,000 on top of like,
it's probably not the best option.
It's not the best option. But then, for example, you could look into shared ownership.
Right. That's something else that I think a lot of young people do these days to get themselves on. Could you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, I did shared ownership, for example, with my first property. So it's to help young people or people with low incomes, or in my situation, I was the sole parent, so I only had one income. And it's to help you get onto the property ladder. So to qualify, you can't earn more than £80,000 a year. So there are a set of rules with what you do. And you just buy a percentage. So you can buy, I think the minimum is about 25% of the full asking price. So just a bit of math. My flat was worth £360,000 and I bought it for 126, I think it was. So it's a much lower price to buy.
So much more. And then can you end up owning the whole thing?
Yeah. So then you can gradually buy a bit more. So in a year's time, you're like, oh, I've got a bit of money aside. How much is the property worth? You get it assessed and then you can buy a bit more. You don't have to buy all of it. You can just buy another 5%, another 10%, etc. And then on the flip side, you have rent to pay on the side that you don't own. So there's a lot of negative comments about this, but it's basically I pay the mortgage, which is a low amount. So mine was like £300 at the time. So it's £300. And then you pay a rent, but your rent is a small rent. It's not like the rent you would see on Rightmove. If I Google now on Rightmove, 3-bedroom house, it's going to come up to be like £2,000. You're not going to pay £2,000. You're going to pay something really low. So
a percentage of what it is.
Yeah, mine was about £500, if that.
Fine. So it evens itself out.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be sort of extortionate, but it's just having those options, isn't it? If you're not able to just have that deposit sitting there, put 10% down on a property, whatever, and get a property. It's just about having those options and educating first-time parents, young couples that it is possible to get on the property ladder. So other than the mortgage side of it, the savings side, is there anything else that you would, from a financial perspective, advise young couples starting a family to help them sort of budget so that life is just that little bit easier financially?
Yeah, I think life's hard.
Yeah.
Life is very hard. So I feel like when it comes to budgeting and saving, I feel as a young couple, you have to go in survival mode. When
Right.
you have such a big goal of buying a house or a car, whatever it is you're looking to do, you need to go into survival mode. So what does that mean? Pay your bills, pay your rent as a priority. And then if you've got kids, you're going to have childcare costs. Look into what government schemes you can get, universal credit and all that stuff. I know you
I
talk
can help
about
you
that.
with that.
Yeah, exactly. Like your page is really good for that because it's you can claim this, you can claim that. There's so many things you said, and I was like, I didn't get that. I didn't know I could have got that.
Right. I didn't get half of it. I didn't know at the time when I was the first time on.
I know, and I can't claim it back now. It's too late. It's like 10 years too late. So definitely, like, I recommend checking out your videos because they're really good with all those tips. Yeah, no, definitely. And then, so yeah, go in survival mode, pay what you need to pay. And the rest of it, the rest of your money that you've got left, so let's say it's £300, shop smart, meaning go to Lidl, Aldi, go to these shops where it costs less to get what you want. Like you need to, or even shop around. If Sainsbury's is doing a deal, but actually it's cheaper at Tesco's. I know it's a faff and people will be like, oh, the petrol. But at the end of the day, you're going to put petrol in the car anyway.
Regardless.
Yeah. So shop around with your food shopping, for example, and cut back on your spending in the sense, I want to go out for a cup of coffee. How much is that going to cost me? That's going to be £4 for a cup of coffee. If I went to the supermarket, I could buy a packet of coffee pods for about £3.75. So
yeah, and I think also like having that budget of how much you want to spend on shopping for the week, so that when you do go shopping, even if something might be on offer that you wouldn't normally get and it's not within your budget, then maybe you can't get it that week. And just what I think you're trying to say is be really strict with yourself to get to that goal, isn't it?
Yeah. And meal prep, plan out your meals, for example. Like we've started doing this now because we're spending like a fortune on food shop. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
So some of the changes I've done, for example, is I shop online now. I do my food shop online because I can see the basket. Yeah, it's there. It's like you've spent 140 per hour. It's too expensive. What do we not actually need that I've just put in because I fancied it? So that's definitely helped. So now we're spending like 120 for a family of 4, which I think is relatively okay.
Yeah.
And then, we plan out the meals. So like we're going to have spaghetti bolognese. We're going to have pasta with chicken, what to buy instead of just dumping everything in.
Yeah. Also, I think there's another benefit because we do that too. And I also will cook 2 meals at the beginning of the week. But that's also part of the planning, because what I think you achieve by planning meals is you know what you're doing so that your life is easier. You're planning ahead. Also, when I think you don't know what you're cooking, you just rush out to the shop, grab whatever you can think of at that moment because you're in a rush. And you actually end up spending a lot more on food during the week when you're shopping in that way. So I think that is a massive tip for budgeting.
And once you do it a couple of weeks, then it's just in automatic because, when you've got kids, they eat the same thing over and over again. It's like my youngest is in this phase where he only eats pasta, scrambled eggs, fish fingers. Amazing. That's pretty much it. Pretty much it. In this phase,
I think we've all been there. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got to blend vegetables in the pasta sauce and all that stuff again because he's in that phase. So once you do it for the first 2-3 weeks, then you know what you're going to get. You need this many packets of chicken and beef or whatever it is that you're going to get. So it becomes easier. It's not, it might be a bit of a shock to begin with or a bit time consuming, let's say, to begin with. But once you've done it, you'll survive. You'll go through it.
Yeah, I think so. And I think if the goal is so big to budget for something bigger like buying a house or saving for something for your family, maybe you're somebody that doesn't want to necessarily buy a house right now, but you do want to have savings for your family or for your kids' school fees as they get older, whatever it is. But I think budgeting from the beginning and having that plan, it's all about having a plan.
Yeah.
A plan, whether it's a financial plan or a meal plan, it just makes life so much easier and you know where you're at. And I think a lot of outgoings are quite predictable each month. The petrol that you spend, you probably would spend the same each month, and the mortgage, the rent, the bills. The shopping can fluctuate at different times of the year, but if you're saving a little bit as well, you can make allowances for those like times of the year where you might have a kid's birthday party or something like that.
Yeah.
And just try and be strict with yourself, budget.
Yeah. And it's also about visibility. So write it down. I've got a notebook every month. I can see it on my apps anyway. Open your banking apps, you can see it. But I've got a notebook and there's all my bills written down, everything. Yeah. And even I know how much my mortgage is because it's the same every month, but it's written down.
Yeah.
You write everything down and then you can see, okay, well, actually, I've got Netflix and I've got Amazon Prime, whatever it is you watch, for example. Do we actually need both of these, for example? Do we need to cut back? Now, obviously, cancelling your Netflix isn't going to get you a mortgage. It's £5 a month, whatever it is. But it's these small things. Like me and my partner have 4 insurances. So I think we've both got life insurance. Then we've got the mortgage insurance. And I think we've got health insurance. We've got all these different insurances. And it's going to get to a point where we do actually need to sit down and think we're spending £150 a month on insurance. Let's actually go through and see what we need. So I think everyone needs to do it, whether you're looking to buy a house or you're starting a family or you're just single by yourself.
Yeah. No, I think the visibility is good as well. I think I write all my bills down as well with the dates that they're coming out, just so I can tick it off through the month as well. So I know that things have been paid. It's a really nice feeling. Just to know. And going back to the meal thing as well, planning and budgeting your food, even having a meal rota. So week 1, you're cooking these meals, week 2, you're cooking these meals, and week 3. So you know what your kids like, and you can actually financially plan for that too, because you pretty much will know how much that costs.
Exactly.
So moving forward from starting a young family to having children, what kind of savings, education can we give to our kids from the beginning to make sure that they start, because so many kids are born into families where they're not financially educated. And I think it's something that is quite easy to teach from the beginning if you know how. So you teach us.
Definitely. Yeah. I think when it comes to money and children, it's really hard because life's different now. Like when I was younger, I didn't get pocket money. I just would have to wait until my birthday or Christmas. And not because we were poor, we were a middle-class family. We had a comfortable life, but it wasn't a thing. Yeah. Now my son, my eldest, comes home from school every day. Oh, can you get this off Amazon? Can you buy this?
Oh, same.
It just makes no sense. Money grows on trees. Here you go.
Yeah.
You want some more?
My 9-year-old does that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Can you just get me this? Can you just get me that?
Yeah. Well, it's only 10, it's only 15, it's only this. So I think it's good to teach them how to save from an early age. If you give them £5 a week or a month, whatever you've got, tell them to save £3 and they can spend £2 on whatever. Let them spend it on whatever they want. Let them have that joy. Because ultimately, when you buy something, you buy it to feel good. It's like when you go to the gym, you work out to feel good. So let them buy whatever it is, sweets, candy. And then the £3 that they've saved, put it away, but put it where they can see it. Because they're not going to know. Yeah. So then it's been 4 months. I've got £12. Wow, what can I buy with £12? Give them some satisfaction, not just here's some money, but we're putting it away. And then they don't see it. Because then they just think, it's not fair.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah.
I think that's a good way of doing it. And then you can take that into adulthood.
Yeah.
So if we look at Christmas is coming up now, everyone's, I need to buy Christmas presents. So if you put £50 away a month for 12 months, when it gets to Christmas time, I say £50, it could be 10. It depends how much you earn, right? Yeah. So let's put £50 away a month. And then you get to Christmas and you're like, oh, cool. I've got some spare cash, which I haven't really noticed because it's a tiny fraction to come out. And now I can spend that. So I don't have to waste any of my salary to buy presents.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
It's that satisfaction, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all about mindset. And then a good thing you can get as a young family is a LISA account, which is a lifetime ISA, basically. That's what it's called. So the ISAs are saving accounts where it's tax-free.
Yeah.
So it used to be £20,000 you could put away a year. I believe it's now gone down. It will be going down in April to about, I want to say 5,000. They're really cutting it down.
From 20 to 5,000. My goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
I believe it's 5, could be 12. Can't remember. I'd need to check. But it's going down. But for example, if you open it now before April, you can still put that 20,000 in. But basically, this account is really good. I've seen it so many times in banks where you put in an amount. I think it's about 200 to £400 a month you can put in.
Okay.
And then the government at the end of the year will give you 25% bonus each year on it.
Wow.
So whatever you put in,
On whatever balance you have.
Whatever balance you have. So I think the max they will give you is £1,000,
right?
Because it's capped to that 20,000, except however
okay.
much. Yeah. So you can get up to £1,000 free money in interest, and then this account you can use it to buy a house or for when you retire, basically.
Wow.
So those are the only times you can dip into this account. So if you're looking to just save for Christmas, for example, this isn't the account
thing. Right.
It's not anything for you. Okay, you can just get a normal
thing.
ISA. Yeah, it's really good. They used to have the help to buy ISA, which is what I had.
I've heard of that. Yeah, I've heard.
They've cancelled it now. So that was like you pay £200 a month, and then at the end we'll give you 25% bonus when you're ready to buy a house. But that one's closed. But this one is really good. You have to open it before your 40th birthday.
Okay.
To be able to qualify. And then, it's open. And you've got a high interest rate on it because it's always a little bit higher.
Amazing.
So that's a good account. If you're looking to save up for a deposit, for example, that would be good. And then if you don't use it, you can just have it for your retirement,
That's fantastic. That's a really good initiative, like young families starting and wanting to save. That's incredible. So I think you've really given us some really good information here for people that are just starting out, that may feel like life is financially really difficult. And yes, it is. It really is hard. And you did say that, like, life is hard. Yeah. But you mentioned just before that it is all about mindset, about having the right mindset. That's for you as your family. You start out budgeting, finances, and for your kids as well. Just teaching your kids that mindset that, okay, we don't have to save everything, but if you save some and you spend some, so that you're actually, and they will carry that on. If it's that mindset that they've done forever, that's how they will grow up to be as they become adults. They'll save some and they'll spend some. I think it's really important financial lessons. And of course, Hannah's available as well for further financial advice. She's absolutely amazing. I work really closely with her, and I will put all of her details in the description so that you can get in touch with her if you do want a consultation for more financial advice. Is there anything you want to say before we finish?
No, I think, I'm here if anyone needs some help. I think we need to talk more about money. I think even like on the TV, they show Martin Lewis, who comes out with his topics on a weekly basis. Just start watching things like that, read a bit more online, just inform yourself more, because it's not as scary as it sounds. Once you know things, you can change your life around. So I'm here to help.
That's what we're looking to do. We're looking to help young people change their lives around so that it's not so scary, and that you can achieve the things that you want to. So if you're sitting there listening to this thinking that you just can't achieve all these financial things, we're telling you that you can, and we're here to help.
There's always a solution. That's what I say to people. Like, there's always a solution to whatever problems you've got. We just need to figure it out. Talk about it. Talk to your parents about it. Just speak about it and you'll get through things. But
Lovely. And Hannah's going to stay with me on different topics as well. We're going to be coming back with other topics around the financial world to try and help.
So much to talk about,
Thank you so much for coming.
Brilliant. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to Chat with Charlie on Mum Matters. Find ongoing support in the Mum Matters community. Link is in the show notes, because behind every child is a mum who matters. See you next time.